Good afternoon, everyone. Please rise. Welcome to the Cade Museum for this June 22nd meeting of the Rotary Club of Gainesville. My name is Tom Collette, your Sergeant at Arms. It's time to begin our meeting. As we do, please silence your cell phones. And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, we need you to register your participation. Send us an email, info@rotarygainesville.org. We start off our meeting as we do each and every week with the incredible Pete Enwall with a song and pledge. Pete.
Okay. This week, Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect. I don't get no respect. My house caught on fire. My wife told the kids, don't wake daddy. I looked up my family tree. 2 dogs were using it. The girl next door called and said, come on over. Nobody's home. I went over. Nobody was home. We're going to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee. My country 'tis of thee, sweet, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died. Land of the Pilgrim's Pride. From every mountainside let freedom ring. Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pete. Next, please welcome to our podium to offer an invocation for today, Ian Fletcher.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to yet again join together, to yet again come together to conduct the business of Rotary. You are the great one. You are our leader. And as we draw another Rotary year close to the end, we thank you for our president, Matthew. We thank you for Tom. We thank you for Wes. We thank you for the board members and all the club members that participated in getting us through this year. We thank you for our RYLA students, and we thank you for all those that we have lost over the past year. But Lord, we understand that there is hope, and we understand that there is faith. And come what may, help us to press on. Come what may, help us to stay the course. Come what may, help us to conduct the business of Rotary. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ian. You may be seated unless you're visiting with us today. And members, stand with your guests. Don Bugos looks lost without his microphone. There he is. Wow, I love the hats in the back. That's great. But we'll start off to our right. If you can give us camera 3 there. Jeff, give us camera 3. We'll get a shot of David and his guest.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. David Gracie here to introduce as my guest, Mr. Stephen Tanner, who is an employee benefits specialist at Assured Partners and a close friend of mine. Please welcome Stephen.
I'm going to take a quick second and introduce Slate Creek. He does custom kitchens with Jackson Stoneworks.
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to learning more about this club and possibly becoming a member.
Hi, everybody. Derek Roberts coming back again for the second week, still hoping to join. And I want to know this guy's story.
So I pulled an audible, and I need Matthew to come over here and join us real quick. But I have here Josiah Castillo, who is supposed to be returning from Austria on Rotary Youth Exchange, but this thing called COVID didn't happen. And so I'm going to do a little special recognition. If you would get in the middle here, Matthew. I even wrote it down because Greg taught me how to do this. But I asked both Jason and Chad for permission. I didn't get Tom's permission, but Jason and Chad said no problem. And I got some priceless recognition before the Sergeant in Arms comes and removes me. But Dr. Merlot said that to be grateful and not tell one is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So all during the pandemic, I was feeling grateful that I didn't still own the Pizza Huts, that my children were not in school, and that most of my activity was outside, kayaking, biking, the Hawthorne Trail, San Francisco, and golfing with a bunch of old men. Matt, he had just the opposite. His boy Dylan was still in school. He had to manage a job where he was the PPP in hot demand. And with humility and determination, he continued to operate this Rotary Club. I'm truly grateful for your leadership. In my book, you're the top banana. Yes, he did some excellent support that got to be easier to be the top banana. Greg Tigger Young, and his energy and enthusiasm, was a great secretary. Jeff quietly collected the money. TJ did a great job. There's many fun and fellowship activities. Heck, he even managed to get the election done and got married at the same time. Wes quietly does most everything in the background, an awesome Rotarian. David Gracie providing his support and suggestions along the way. Jason and Chad happy that it was not them as the top banana. Jenny Van Hart, who brought us excellent talent by way of Zoom and live from these exotic locations she was visiting while under quarantine. And Tom, your Sergeant of Arms, who's got a TV face and a radio voice, adding comments where there was silence among the Zoom. And a great team leader. And of course, both Shannon and Dylan at home providing support, understanding, and most of all, love for your service above self. So I have a special recognition for you that I am pretty sure you have never received before. For the top banana, I got a bunch of bananas. Okay. And on there is a banana for all of your team members.
Quite the presentation there. So let's bring him back up for the next to last time, everybody. Your top banana, your president, Matthew.
Thank you, sir. All right, so all these surprises, you can tell I have no control of what's going on here in these final weeks. Wheels off, total out of control. Bill, actually, I'm still needing to put together next week's presentation, and I think you just gave it. So can I get that sheet to start with in preparing for next week? So you pretty much covered the majority of the accolades, that's for sure. Oh, okay. Thank you. You are a dear friend and a great Rotarian. You know, I had planned next week for the final recognition and thank yous, and that is the plan. And we need to hurry and get to today's program because we have a full program, a great program. But I was tipped off on someone who was very, very important to the success of this year, not going to be here next week. Okay. And so going to have to get out of order, okay? And I'm going to, just know that there's a lot more to say next week, but this gift, to describe it, is I got out of the truck today and it tumbled out of the truck, hit the curb, bounced over in the bushes. It's fragile, did not break. It had this yellow that got wet, and dear friend Eric come in, he goes, "You got yellow over here on your face." I had this yellow tissue on me. It's kind of symbolic of the year. It's like, whatever was thrown at its way, it just handled, right? And so this year, quietly, and again, this is not to avoid recognition of so many important people, but very quietly, very faithfully, extremely loyal, supportive, encouraging. My friend Don Bugus has just been there in the background, and I just want to give him this small token of appreciation and tell you I thank you and appreciate you. When he sees the contents, he's like, "Why didn't you give this to me a long time ago with this year?" So, one other quick announcement, too. Our very own Margaret Combs, I saw recently here a little TV 20 clip. She just authored, I think this is her second or multiple books, but a recent book that she authored, and she was recognized, "The Journey from Hope to Healing." It's a story of prevailing over PTSD. So not only congratulations to Margaret for another book, but for the message and outreach to those that could benefit from the message. So I just wanted to I think she's Zooming today. I was trying to look real quick. She had planned to Zoom. And so I just wanted to give recognition and a round of applause for her. Final announcement, you should have seen an email from me yesterday. I hit the wrong time. I hit 5 a.m. instead of 5 p.m., so it probably confused everybody. Another glitch for me. But so next week, we're going to have a hot served buffet lunch. Now, it takes a little bit more coordination to do that. So the deadline is this Friday. I apologize, but Friday at noon, I'm going to send out a reminder this week. I'll probably send out 2 reminders. Please register in advance, and we'll look forward to that final celebration with a little different menu next week and enjoy that. So without further ado, with everything COVID and pandemic related, RYLA was different this year too, okay? So we can wait and hear the great things that Julie Waldman, that has not only been involved with our club, with the RYLA, but from a district standpoint, very passionate for years, very engaged and doing a tremendous job. But, I will sneak one comment that, hey, challenge or opportunity, right? Let's think about in the very beginning. And so while it was virtual, while it was Zoom, it afforded us the opportunity as a club to leverage our dollars that we typically would use to reach more local students. So with that, I'm going to hand over the virtual mic to Julie Waldman.
Hello, friends. It's so nice to see everyone today, and I'm really excited for this presentation, and I hope you will enjoy it as well. When we began planning RYLA last year, of course, the pandemic was raging, and rather than cancel for a second year, we decided to go virtual and hold RYLA via Zoom. With many high school students attending classes virtually this year, we were not sure that the students would want to attend a RYLA conference held through Zoom. And we really struggled initially with how to make the program impactful without doing all of the physical service projects, the breakout sessions, and the socials that are incorporated into the live conference. In the end, we had a 1.5-day conference. It was this past weekend, and according to the student feedback, it was probably one of the best RYLA programs ever. The presentations for the program this year worked around The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teams, a book by Sean Covey. Each topic had a different presenter, most of whom were Rotarians, and they shared what their habit meant and how they applied that habit to their life. Prior to the program, each student was sent a box of RYLA swag, including a t-shirt, a backpack, and the book. They also received items to use during the sessions so they could be truly interactive. The sessions were short, with breakout sessions for students to meet and discuss how the habits could be applied to their life. I'm very proud that our club sponsored 11 students this year from Eastside High School, Trilogy School, Hawthorne High School, and Gainesville High School. 2 of the students we sponsored were involved in the Riker House. 1 student is an officer in his Interact Club, and the other students are leaders in their schools and communities. And also, through the generosity of our board, our club sponsored the backpacks for the students. I also want to thank committee members David Nicholson and Cynthia Brochu for helping to get the students that we ended up sponsoring. I'm delighted to share with you that today, 2 of the students who attended RYLA this past weekend are here to share their perspective on the program and what parts of the program resonated with them the most. We also are going to hear from a student who attended RYLA 2 years ago and how that has changed his life. So I want to first introduce Declan Marsac. Declan is going into his senior year at Trilogy School, where he is the treasurer of his Interact Club. Declan is very involved with volunteering at the Museum of Natural History, and he enjoys writing and performing drama presentations. I can't wait for you to meet and hear from Declan about how he is going to use the 7 skills in his daily life.
Hello. So, as Julie said, and thank you for introducing me, we learned in RYLA about the 7 habits of successful teens. Now, I have already been able to use some of these habits after learning them in the few days after RYLA, and they've already helped me tremendously with everything that I do in my life, really, with other people. And I'm very active with my friends, and we do things together frequently. So one of the habits that was extremely helpful was synergizing, habit 6, which is to make sure you hear ideas from everyone. And so hearing these things at RYLA helped me a lot and have been helping me. And another habit that I found extremely helpful is habit 7, sharpening your saw. Because I am someone that likes to work a lot and help people, but you really do need to take time to focus on yourself and help make sure that you can do better work, not just more work. Another thing that I found very useful and inspiring from RYLA was Christopher Evans' story about how Rotary helped him. And I thought it was really nice to hear how Rotary helps people, and how it has helped people in the past and how it's continuing to help people. And I just found it all very inspiring. I think that this was just really a wonderful experience that I'm just happy to have been able to take part in. And I'd love to continue to be involved with the Rotary in the future. I think that's all I have to say, if that's all right.
Okay, thank you so much, Declan. We loved hearing about that, and I cannot wait to hear how you use your those skills in your daily life. Next, I want to introduce Matt Coleman. Matt is going into his senior year at Hawthorne High School, where he has been involved with the Hawthorne Youth Council, as well as finding time for drama, electronic, and movie clubs, all while maintaining a place on the AB Honor Roll. Matt is a whiz at computers and electronics, and I can't wait for him to share with us how he's going to use what he learned at RYLA to help him plan his life goals.
All right. Thank you, Julie. So being in RYLA has been very beneficial, especially as Julie said, in helping me plan my life goals going forward. As Declan said, the habit 7, sharpening my saw, is very important in planning my life goals, because that's going to help me. I'm sorry. That's going to help me better. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. May I have a second?
Sure. Well, friends, while we're waiting for Matthew to get his thoughts together, I just want to share with you that several of the other students that we selected and sponsored for RYLA were not able to join us today, but I know that they have similar thoughts that mirror some of what you're going to hear today. So I know that it's going to be really impactful. Matthew, you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am. All right. I'm going to diverge from sharpen the saw because Declan has already said all there really is to be said about it. However, I want to thank the presenter for Habit 3, Elizabeth Rieger. She definitely put into a different perspective how I should get my, how I should plan my work, like the most important things first, and then have time for the smaller things in between. And she did a very good example with a jar, and she had large dog bones, and those represented the larger tasks in life. And then she had smaller dog bones and like crushed up dog bones, and those are the medium to small things in life. And putting them in the jar, it's, if you put the small things first and then the medium things, you don't really have space for the larger things, the most important things. But if you put the most important things first and then you add time for the smaller things, that's going to allow a lot more room for you to do those things. And RYLA, as little as I can comprehend right now, RYLA's was very helpful to me, and I know going forward that there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to use from it. And I'm sorry, but I just kind of can't put it into words. It's just so much. So thank you a lot for everything.
Thank you, Matthew. That was really nice to hear. And
you're muted, Julie.
thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Matthew. We really appreciate everything that you said. I know sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking to share your innermost thoughts, but I know that all of us really appreciate what you got from the RYLA program and how you're going to use it in the future. And I think you're going to have a lot of success, as is Declan. So, friends, finally, I want to introduce to you our last speaker, which is Marland Perry. Some of you may remember Marland. He attended RYLA in 2019, and he came back and spoke to our club about his perspective on the program at that time. I am so proud of Marland. Today, he comes to us as a proud graduate of Gainesville High School, where he earned the Principal's Leadership Award for all of his achievements over the last year. In addition, Marland has earned a full scholarship to Santa Fe College, where he will be following his dream, studying criminal justice. When I talked to Marland recently, he told me that attending RYLA was the jump start for him to pursue his leadership aspirations, both in his community and his school. I am so delighted that he was able to come back and speak with us today. Go for it, Marland.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'd like to say good afternoon. It is an honor to be speaking to you all before today. Thank you for your support and encouragement over the last 2 years. It's really mean a lot. Where I was introduced to the values and attributes of wisdom, growth, and integrity. Values I will take with me, they have changed my life forever. During that time, I started out with a group of like-minded people and learned to build a functioning team. We learned to cooperate and depend on other people to build a team, carry out instructions, and work together to accomplish a task. We called our team the Wolf Pack and carried the skills we learned back to school with us to be leaders and meet new friends. We were no longer alone. We were part of a larger community. RYLA changed my expectations of what the future holds for me and my fellow participants. I learned how to use these values to take advantage of better opportunities that will be before me as I go forward. I'm grateful to have been embraced by the community of current Rotary members who have mentored and supported me towards my aspirations and goals. An open path for me I would not otherwise have had. I hope to be able to form stronger relationships for inside the community to make changes to better our lives. The last year of high school has been exciting, even though as I am glad to be moving on to Santa Fe. I was honored to receive a humility award from the program the last 2 years ago. I received the Principal's Leadership Award in 2021 at Gainesville High School and have been featured in Gainesville Sun twice. I sincerely do not think I would be standing in front of the Rotary Club if not for the support and encouragement your organization has offered me. And for that, I am deeply appreciative. Understanding that I am part of something bigger than myself has made me feel inspired to know that I can chase my dreams, that I can count on people here to have my back, and that I have made some lifelong connections and friends. Thank you again for the life-changing opportunities you have given to me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Marland. That was great. And we're so proud of you. And we are very excited to hear how you move into the future. And we're going to hear lots of good things about you, I am sure. Well, friends, we had some other students that weren't able to participate today, but that is just to give you a taste of some of the activities that were during the RYLA program this year and how awesome it was. We are excited that we're going to be able to go back to an in-person conference next year. And you know that I'm going to attack Marland, Matthew, and Declan to be part of that and help work with the new young people that are going to be coming along and being a part of our RYLA group and future RYLarians and past RYLarians as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present these students to you today, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon. I think I turn it back over to you now, Matthew. Matthew Brady, that is.
This past weekend. Still there, Julie?
I didn't hear you. Say again.
Can you tell me how many additional youth we had that we were able to sponsor and attend, and also maybe how many total youth?
Absolutely. our club sponsored a total of 11. There were a total of 74 students that were confirmed to attend RYLA, and when we ended up at the end of the program, there were 62 students that had fully completed the program throughout the district. So we had a very good showing for Alachua County, and our club was the only Alachua County club that did sponsor students this year.
Very good, very good. I'm going to open up to the chat. I saw a couple questions, but also ask Don if there's anybody here, if Declan, Matthew, or Marland is still on, if they would entertain any questions from the floor. Those that are not on Zoom, a question was asked about favorite activities over the weekend. And Declan said the entire RYLA experience was really fun. I enjoyed all the breakout group activities where we got to work together and synergize to reach our goals. Matthew talked about how much he enjoyed the SAW activity. So any other questions from the room or on Zoom, please raise your hand or type them in. We still have our 3 youth students here.
First, Julie, it's David Gracie. Thank you for just sticking with this program. I know we had to overcome quite a bit just to stay with it, and the fact that we were the only local club that sponsored any students this year says a great deal to your pardon the term, tenacity here to make sure and follow through with this program. I've got a question for either of the this weekend students, Declan or Matthew. If the thing, I'll tell you, it was kind of a unique year because we weren't able to sponsor an in-person experience, which is, to me, it's almost fundamental to this whole thing. But we couldn't do that, and there are a lot of other things that we couldn't attend in person this past year. So my question, and I'm hoping that I'm serving up a good response here, but were you able to make some meaningful connections with some of your peers despite not being able to shake hands and kind of see them in person? Did you make some connections that hopefully you'll be able to keep? Maybe if one of you could speak to that.
Sure, I will speak to that. So I think that it was still easy to make meaningful connections and interact with others. I think that I really enjoyed working with everyone during the RYLA experience. And I do think that even though we couldn't be in person, it was still a very valuable and good experience. And I think, considering how the year has been, it wasn't too unusual to have to be online doing anything like, doing something like this. And so I think that it was easy to still make connections with other people.
Matthew or Marland, do you want to add anything to that?
For me, again, I'm very thankful to be part of RYLA. It has connected me to so many good people, from like the court system to business. It's really made me better to go forward to do what I want to do. And it's very motivating. And I would say I still keep up with some people from the RYLA experience. Everyone's pretty much busy, unfortunately, because work and college, but a lot of them are doing well. They're still reaching on to their goals and keeping the strategies that we learned while in RYLA, as far as obviously keeping things coordinated and doing their best. And Yes, that's about all.
Matthew, do you have anything to add? You do not have to. You can pass.
It was still very easy to make meaningful connections because it sadly, the physical connection is lost, but the emotional connection is still there, even through just a video call. That's really all I can add.
Thank you very much. I have Monica Brasington here on chat. She's asked to make a statement, so we're going to allow her to make a statement via Zoom.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't plan to speak, but I feel like I am compelled to thank Julie Waldman and her team for continuing the RYLA effort. Declan doesn't know this, but he does a lot of volunteer work at the Museum of Natural History. My sister is the coordinator there. So I, for a couple of years, I think, have heard wonderful things about this young man named Declan. So I know he is doing lots of good work in the community. To Matt, I would say, I think one of the most mature things you can do when you need a minute is to ask for a minute. And you did just that. And then you recovered well and came back and shared with us something that sometimes is vulnerable. So I think that was very brave. I need to give you a shout out for that. And Marland, I had the privilege of meeting 2 years ago, and he's very humble and doesn't really say all of the things he's done. He has worked extremely hard in his schooling, especially with the remote. And he's also got a job. He's talked to me about applying for jobs. He's working at Publix. So he's doing a lot of things, and consistently for 2 years, his biggest goal has been to improve himself and to serve his community. And so I do just want to echo what he said. He told me that it all started with Rotary. I think he probably had some good foundation from his family too. So we can give them some credit as well. But he continues to serve and to want to serve our community. And so I think these young people are very humble and not really telling us all of the wonderful things that they do. So thank you to Rotary for continuing to sponsor this program. I think it's very worthwhile. And good luck to all of the young people. I think you all are our future. You give me hope that we have hope as a country that we can do great things and come together and serve the goals of Rotary. Thanks. Thanks for letting me talk to Jenny for unmuting me.
Thank you very much. Great words. Great words. Any other questions or comments from those here live? Going once, going twice. Seeing no more in the Zoom. I want to thank the three of you, and I know that there were 8 others, but thank you for taking time and you investing into that. I know it's an opportunity presented before you, but so many times we get opportunities and we do not answer, and you answered, and I'm glad to see what difference that made, hear about that, and hope you seize those opportunities again in the future. So thank you, Julie. I know you had mentioned Cynthia and others helping in that process. Thank you all for making that happen. And it's good to hear from you. So we're going to end a little bit early today. There was a whole bunch of bananas, and he wrote every single name on there. So you can see Tom stepped out, right? So he went to a memorial service. So he snuck out a little bit early to go pay some respects and regards. But you'll see as I started all of a sudden jump up here to take over questions, every single name matters on there. So, and everybody has a great role, and Tom does a tremendous job with that, much better than myself. So next week, it's a wrap up for this Rotary year. And as we transition into a new year, Mr. Gracie and handing off to him and the team that he's arranged, please, if you can, RSVP before Friday at noon. We'll have that special hot buffet lunch next week, and we'll prepare to talk about accomplishments, celebrate, and also make that important transition into the following year. So as we wrap up, quote of the day: we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Have a great week, fellow Rotarians. Thank you very much.